Welcome to Now You Know, where we inform you on different topics. Of course, you should subscribe to our show so that way you can be informed of different things that can help you in everyday life, really. Um, as you know, my name is Giovanna Simmons.
I'm Cedric Smith, team leader.
Sherry Davis.
And Conrad Henry.
And today we have Peggy, our buyer, and we're going to talk about the importance of having a buyer's agent.
So today we are happy to be here to talk to you guys about the importance of hiring a experienced agent and why it makes a big difference in your purchase. And when your purchase could be as little as 100 or as big as millions. And
Billions.
I've been in this business for years.
Millions or billions.
And I'm still trying to figure out why would somebody hire an attorney or real estate agent that only works once, do 3 or 4 deals a year or less, and only work part time, unless that person is on a team and they have a team person who's full time. We would never do that when it came to a surgeon or attorney. When in fact they call them junior attorneys for a reason. Let's back up. You guys know us as a team. So let me just introduce. You probably say, "Who's this person looking here?" This is Peggy. Peggy, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hi, well, my name is Peggy Benaby, and I am a financial professional, and buying a home with Cedric and his team, Giovanna.
Yes. She gave us hell. No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
You didn't even say that.
No. I'm joking. This is not her first time buying, so she has some experience buying. So it's useful when you have somebody experienced buying. But I do have some experiences that I want to talk about of people who buy homes and why it's so important when you're spending that money that you have somebody who is experienced. And some of those came from Peggy, and some of them came from prior customers I had. So my brother was telling me yesterday that my cousin who was in the Bronx, she was saying that her house is always cold. She's like, no matter what she did, her house is cold. Because then she found out, when you're a homeowner, you don't realize this sometimes. They found out that she didn't have insulation in the walls. So it's just like, whoa, what, who think of it? You're a first-time home buyer. You're not thinking about, insulation and all that.
She didn't use us.
Yeah, she didn't use it. Oh,
That part.
So it makes it different who you use and how much experience they have. Because Peggy is buying a 2-family home, and one of the issues came up when we did an oil change of inspection, and you saw that the oil tank was we didn't know if it was leaking or not. So tell them what happened with the oil tank.
So, I was gonna get it inspected, and I know Giovanna said some people say inspection just for general purposes, but I knew because the purchase and what I was getting, I definitely wanted to have an inspection done because there's always surprises. So the inspector, where there was a crawl space where the oil tank was, and he said he could smell oil, and he said that could mean that the oil tank is leaking, and so it should definitely be checked to make sure that it hasn't gotten into the ground. And he actually recommended removing the oil tank altogether because he said if they take it out, then they're going to find out if it was faulty or not, and they would be able to check and make sure it didn't seep into the ground.
So here's where the experience comes in. If a normal person that you've been doing this part-time and you haven't experienced anything, or you don't know, the seller says, yes, I'm going to I'll check the inspection and making sure that there's no oil tank there, and I'll put the tank on the slab. And what I said to you, I said, make sure
that I get a certificate that a professional person inspected it and is giving it a go-ahead, not just a general contractor.
That's right. So if you're not experienced as an agent, you may not inform the person, hey, this needs to happen. You need to get certificate, because when you go sell that and there was an oil tank there, it could be thousands of dollars. I'm not talking. And originally, the seller was offering credit back, maybe $5,000, $10,000. I'm talking about $50,000. If you have an oil tank that leaks, it becomes a big problem because everybody gets involved. And so it's not like the state is going to get involved, federal is going to get involved, and they're going to charge you could be thousands of dollars. So, but if you don't have experience, you may like, okay, they checked it, it's good. And then when that couple of years go down the road, what happens?
Right.
You go sell it, they found out it was a leak, and then the seller's bye, he's gone. He's no longer around. So having that agent there to negotiate for you and to know things is important. Now, Peggy also, that's why when you come to an agent that's experienced and they have contact as an attorney, as an inspection person, a title person, and all those connections, it makes a difference. So Peggy is buying, she's selling her co-op, right? And she's buying the two-family house, and because the mortgage person is in connection with us, since we know them, told us that, hey, you cannot do this, and you cannot do it. You're going to be a problem there,
Right.
And because we have a connection there, it's important that we inform that, and we can prevent things to go wrong down the road.
Everybody working together.
Everybody working together, so that's important.
A team.
A team. And it's so important. And some, I'm not saying that all part-time agents, but I say a lot of them, from my experience, don't know how to get you from A to B. So that comes in when it comes in negotiating, even negotiating the price, as well as when you have problem with appraisals. Sometimes you do. People got the appraisals come up. The problems people have to that. It's also sometimes there's problem with the how quick is going to close, because sometimes you get tied into a rate, get locked into a rate, and if it doesn't close fast enough, there's issues that come up. You know, how do we work that out? And through experience, we work those things out. So tell us about how your experience is as a buyer, and then if you guys want to jump in on anything, you're welcome to.
So this is my first time going through the process myself. So I am selling a co-op, but it's a co-op that I purchased with my sister. So she was really the one jumping through the hoops and having all the headaches, although we did look together. And at that time, we had made a list. And the co-op we got actually was everything that we had on the list plus. Mm-hmm. And at that time, we thought that it was a very hard find because we wanted two bathrooms for our co-op, and it was like hard to find anything with two bathrooms. That wasn't like $1 million, right?
Yeah.
That was like almost 10 years ago.
It's pocket money for you. Come on. Come on.
So being that we found everything, you know, my daughter and I started to look for this two-family, and when we started to look, I started to realize that this was also going to be a very challenging feat, because we wanted to have something that was comfortable for us, but also would bring in income. And as I started to work with Giovanna, I started to say to her, I was like, I don't know if I'm giving you an impossible task, because we had looked at so many properties and it was like so not right. And then we put a bid on one, we got it, but then I took it back at the end because I was like, no, I just didn't feel like it was right, and it was more than, you know, what I was comfortable with. So for putting in more, I was like, I wanted to be something that I know for sure. It was kind of small. So then we put in a bid, another one, and we lost that bid, which that one I was really liking, and I was like, oh man, I guess that wasn't for us.
Yeah.
So the experience with this has been very good, because I think it took some time for us to really understand for Giovanna to understand what we were looking for and what we wanted. And as we started to narrow our search down, so that it wasn't like just searching for a needle in a haystack, but more so a intentional, direction, of what we were looking for. I think the last few homes that we saw were just very much more in line of what we wanted. And I think it's been great. And I know when Giovanna couldn't make it, you would show me, and that's also a benefit of having a team that works together.
Who's better?
Don't mean that.
Well, I'm just going to say, all the buyers, they want to see me. Sometimes when I can't make it, that tells you something.
She was telling me, she was like, oh, Peggy want me. And then,
but since I can't make it.
So anyway, it's good to know that you have a group of people looking for your best interest. And like you were saying, because the mortgage person also came through a very close network, so it's about building trust. Like, you really have to trust the person, because this is a big purchase. And if you don't trust who you're getting it for, I mean, I literally know at least a dozen real estate agents, and many of them full-time too, and I respect them all. But we made the decision to go with you and Giovanna because of the relationship that we built, and I think that also makes a difference because I feel
Keep it
like
up. You don't want that million. Keep it up. You're getting there.
I feel like when you build that relationship, it's more like family.
Yes.
And it's like you treat me like family, I treat you like family. You invite me to your home. I met some of your other clients, and that was also one of the points that made me feel more comfortable too, because I got to meet some of your clients and see how happy they were with the buys that they made. So that was also an added plus, when we were thinking about who we wanted to go with.
Yeah, because I think what's important is the relationship. That's very true, and I feel that's the center of my business. It's why I get a lot of referrals back from my sphere. My clients return to me. They send their family members over to me. I have a lot of clients I've worked with their sisters or brothers because of the relationship I built with them. Like sometimes, like I remember during the pandemic, I would have clients that when I saw them, I felt like I was going to see friends. That's how you feel. And also for me, for the team, it's not about just the sell. It's not about just the money that you're going to make, because honestly, once you get all the cuts and everything like that, it's just enough. It's just enough. And Peggy would know because she's doing all my financial things. But the biggest part for me was, is my client going to be happy? The gratification that it feels so rewarding to know, okay, my client's going to really enjoy this home. That comes from it's honesty, and it's not just about closing. And I think that's a big deal when it comes to working with buyers, and that's something that you want to look for in an agent as well. I thought that was interesting too, because you mentioned about knowing more of what you're looking for, and that takes time because you have to know what you want first in order for the agent to be able to help you and guide you, right? And I think a big note just to buyers when you start looking, before you start working with an agent, a big way to see and to be able to understand what you're looking for is to go to open houses. We always tell our clients, like before they start searching, if they're a year out, we say start with open houses, because that gives you an idea what the market is, that gives you an idea of what things look like, and then it helps you to navigate your search. So when you do start working with the agent, you're able to know a little bit more of what you want, and the agent can then help guide you more towards that. I also think a part of our process was I think explaining what the market is and what the steps are, because I know at certain points it was overwhelming in terms of how fast you had to move, or what decisions you had to make, or when you had to make them. So I think that was a big part of the process, helping you to navigate what things are normal, what things are not, what is just part of the process, what is, okay, well, that makes me feel uneasy, why it shouldn't, or, those things too. Because purchasing is not just about the numbers and the technical part, it also is emotional. It's stressful. It causes anxiety.
I can I can admit it. I had my share of anxiety, and so did my daughter. And sometimes we weren't even on the same level. Like some things I was trying to tell her, "Don't worry, that's kind of normal," and then other things I was like, "Well,"
And she'd be telling you, "Don't worry, mom."
So it was. It seems like in the beginning, it seemed like things were moving fast. Like when you want to put a bid in, it's like, well, there's other people putting bids in, so you want to kind of hurry up, and then you don't know how much to bid, and so that I really leaned on Giovanna to like say, is this a good? But there were some times when I bid below asking. And then there were other times when it was like, what was that, best or highest or best, and it was like, oh, that means we have to bid above asking. And so the way you explained it to me was really, really good, and I had to remind my daughter a few times when we would do the highest and best, and it was like, that's the highest that we're willing to go and walk away without feeling sorry, without feeling like, oh, we should have bid more. And that was really helpful, because then I was like, all right, so if this is something that I really want, this is the most that I'm willing to pay for it, so it doesn't matter if somebody bid above me, because I wasn't going to go that far anyway. And that really put things in perspective.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And I appreciate that you appreciated that, because some clients will get upset with you when they don't win, and they're like, well, can we put this? It's like, no, you can't at that point, and they're upset with you. But so it's good to know that that's appreciated. I appreciate that part too. I think that in your case, you have something unique, because you're looking for something that has the space of a house, but in a multifamily, and that's hard to find in Westchester County. But I think that the potential that you have is so great because it's not you're seeing past just now. It's something in owning a home is, of course, you own already, but owning a home is so valuable because you're gaining equity, even though it is a lot of work and money that has to go into the home. But with the multifamily, especially, that will become residual income for you at some point, and then you're able to buy that single family that you really want and still be able to pay no mortgage. I mean, that's the best way to do it. I mean, it's worth the sacrifice, and it's part of building wealth, which I think a lot of people are afraid of because they rather have the house that has all the space and the beautiful things and touches, and not have the part of, okay, wait, at some point I'm not gonna have to pay my mortgage for this or for that one. So I think that it's really smart how you're doing it, and the sacrifices that you may have to make in certain ways are gonna pay off later.
And then I think also when you're thinking about investment properties, it's so important to go back to where you have to have the right team, because then you have to look at the leases that's on there. Even if somebody left a security deposit, where did that go? And what's your responsibility on it, on the snow and all the stuff that goes on to that. And if you have some agents or if you don't have to, as an agent, you don't have to know everything, but you got to know where to go to get the answers. And you got to connect with the right people so that there's first thing that I said to you, make sure you tell your attorney. Now, your attorney, we recommend your attorney, but we also make sure you tell them this, make sure you tell them this, make sure you tell them this. Mm-hmm. So we making sure that you're taken care of. There's nothing that you're not unhappy afterwards. We say, well, this fell apart, that fell apart. Mm-hmm. Keeping everything together, that's what our role is. Yeah. It's almost like, we always say it's like a Broadway show where you have so many pieces. We have, like, you wouldn't even know when you go see it. We have the screenwriter, the makeup person, the sound person. You have all these pieces that have to be put together. And we, as agents, have to know those people. We always tell you, you can have your own, but it's better when you use ours because we'll give you multiple choices, but we know already they're responsible. We already know their experience. We already know their history, how they work. Mm-hmm. And that's the value we offer to you as experienced agents, that, hey, use this person, or you take the answer of these three, they're good, whatever case may be, and we make sure.
It's true. And I think also communication is a big deal as well, because nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get everything right. No home is perfect. Most homes are going to have a catalog of things that needs to be done. And even with an inspection, and even with getting things done, and even with credits and all those things that may come from purchasing a home, once you get in that home, there's going to be something that goes wrong. And then you're going to be upset. But at that point, you have to realize that there's no perfect situation. This is just part of buying a home. So when you're looking to buy a home, you got to make sure that you're ready for those things financially. So yes, you need the down payment. Yes, you need money for your mortgage, but also you think about rainy days, because every house is going to have some type of rainy day.
Yep. And then going back to that, so just the fact that you're looking at the roof, like I said, you look at the roof, and you've experienced versus a non-experienced agent, you may say, okay, I love this home, it's good, everything is good, and then the roof is not good. And for that, an insurance company will not insure your house, and you can't close. So all that time you put in there, and all that energy and your dream that all this house fit perfect, if we see the roof, this doesn't mean that you can't do something about it, because we can make arrangement with the seller or something, we negotiate, but it will make a difference between an experienced agent and a non-experienced agent, or an experienced inspector, because that's the first time you really actually pay out money, when you're spending money on an inspector. So you're spending $500 to $1,000, depending on the size of the house or more, and we could have told you, hey, there's a problem with that, with the roof, and then the insurance company, or even if you're in the flood zone, not in the flood zone, we can figure it out prior to you making an offer on the property that is in the flood zone, and us having the contacts with the other people say, hey, we need to check this out because it's close to the water, but we don't know if it's in the flood zone. So we can check that.
I think there was one house. Remember the one in Mamaroneck that I loved?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the two of you didn't love it so much, but I love it. There are all the time when I show my clients houses, I see houses that I'm like, this. If I was in the market, this would be the house for me. None of my clients ever buy the ones that I feel that way about because everyone has different tastes.
It
you know
was
what I'm saying?
nice, and I think if it was just for her to be in the smaller unit, it would have worked out well.
Yeah, but it just was. It didn't fit what you were looking for.
Yeah.
But it had like I don't know. It was just to me it was cute. But the thing about it though, it was we had to make sure it wasn't in a flood zone. Do you remember that? Liz was wondering, the mortgage officer was wondering if it was. So even things like that, like you had mentioned, like double checking those things before you even go see the home. That way you know, so you don't waste your time.
Yep. Yep. And making sure that going to the building department, making sure everything is there. That there's no open permits and all that stuff that you needed to do to make sure they have a CO, certificate of occupancy, making sure they have that and all that other stuff, things that you guys don't see in the background that we have to still do. And if you're part time, you may not have the time to go there, and you miss one step, and now it's costly, and it's costly. So I think it's important to have somebody that's going to work on your behalf that's really dedicated to making sure that you're satisfied. All right. Sherry, you quiet. What's going on over there?
Huh?
I'm going to say your little brain, but you got a big brain, right?
My little head.
She's Sherry's.
Because he probably looks at you like a daughter. So
Yeah.
Sherry, you got a little brain because you're a child. It's like you're a grown adult.
I told him Father Dearest the other day we went out with Conrad. He looked at us. I was like, he looking at us like he got his two bad kids.
So Sherry's new to our team, but she's been a lot of experience. She's been around for about 5 years in real estate, and we're happy to have her on board. She's going to contribute to us. She's got to go through the ropes. She's going to Durana training. She got to be a graduate from there.
What does that mean?
Nah, I don't know.
The training that he put you through.
You don't want that training.
Oh yeah.
You don't want that. Let me tell you something. There's positives and negatives to working with family. I'm just gonna say, you don't want that training.
I had a question. I wanted to know what are the 3 qualities that you really appreciate from Giovanna and Mr. Cedric working with them.
Oh, that's a nice question.
Oh yeah.
So, 3 qualities. Well, I mean, we already had the relationship, the friendship there. But I think for professionalism, one of the qualities that I kind of knew through talking with Cedric a lot and then knowing that his family, are part of his business, is that when I first met Cedric, one of his things, he's like, he loves real estate, like loves it, loves it, like
More than his family.
stays up all night watching shows about real estate, and now he has a show about,
Right.
and so he's just very much immersed in it. And so that was one of the things that, I looked at too. It's like, it's not just a job, it's not, or just about the money. It's a passion, it's a love. And the same thing with Giovanna. Her passion is more so, like she said, helping people find the house that they love. So those 2 things really come through, when you're working with them. And they know their stuff, so it was like I didn't have to worry. Like if I sent her a message or called, she was right there, messaging me back or calling me back within hours, I would say, And at first I was like, I don't know, can I call her on a Sunday, or is it too late, or things like that,
You asked. You're my husband.
You gotta wonder, like I don't want to be, because at one point, sometimes it can almost take over. It can almost seem like, this is ongoing. It happens in my line of work too, by the way. It's like you feel like you never stop working. People are asking you questions at random, like all hours. It's like, I wasn't expecting to have this conversation right now. So, I wanted to be respectful of their time, but at the same time, when you have questions, and you're trying to make a decision, you want answers, and so I think that was one of the best things is that, the passion, I guess that's a quality, passionate, experience. That's the other thing. Like both of them were able to say, this is calm and this is, not common in the industry or for this particular thing, and then they let you know when it is. And those heads up, like the CO thing came up a couple of times. I was like, what's that? A certificate of occupancy, and is this going to be a problem? And the oil tank thing came up a couple of times, and she even told me before we went to see a place, she's like, this has an oil tank below ground, this could be a problem, do you still want to see it? Like before we even get into it, like she's letting me know ahead of time, like this could be money. So that really helped as well. And I don't know, so did I give enough qualities? I think
And then you said communication. Was very good.
communication, yeah. There you go.
Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate that. I do say that, as much as my father get on my nerves, I would say that we work well together because we both see the different sides of the coin. Like he is very passionate about real estate, and although I do like real estate, I'm more passionate about people. So when you mix the two, it does work well together. And now we have others joining our team, like Sherry, and we have Conrad and Bernard, and so those things, we all bring different things to the table. We all have different talents, different things we're good at. So when you mix them together, it's nice.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have a team. So we meet every week, once a week we meet, and then we'll throw something out and everybody, hey, maybe you do this, try that, and we bounce things off. What's going on with your week? And then we'll figure out, hey, maybe we could do this, maybe we could try that. And we see if it works, We see if it works. And then you guys don't see when Joanna pull on her, damn, Peggy did it. And I'm like, wait, calm down.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm not trying to figure out to make sure Peggy is covered.
Yeah,
I'm like,
down.
is this okay? Is that okay? Is this okay?
more like-
I always double check with him too, with
Yeah,
everything,
see.
because that's the one thing God would say good about working on a team. So when things come
Yeah.
up, I'm always like, even though I think this way, let me double check with him first.
Yeah, we
make
run
sure-
every deal.
Yeah, so
I don't
make
think it's
sure-
ever been. We've done
No,
300 something deals. I don't think it's ever been a
We
deal.
always go back and forth.
we never
to double
not
check
talk
to make
about
sure
it.
that
Talk about
to
it.
make sure you're okay. So like with certain things, I'll say, well, I don't know if that. But what do you think? Like we had a client before in a NIAC.
Yeah,
And remember, I was thinking like, well, maybe I don't know. They're asking too much
Yeah.
for the roof.
yeah.
Or,
yeah. No, there was a mold on the side.
mold. I was like, I think they're asking too much, because I think about, I don't want them to lose the deal if they want it.
Yeah,
If they don't want it, we could lose it.
Yeah, yeah.
But if they want it, I don't want them to lose it. Remember how Theo had
Same
asked
thing
me,
with-
what can we do without losing it? Okay, so I said, well, this is maybe too much. He
what
tells me,
happened?
well, it's mold, so it can't be, that's
what happened?
serious.
What
He
happened?
tells me.
So
this
it was a
serious.
big good success story. Go ahead.
Yeah, so then he says, no, we could ask them for this.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, let's try.
Yeah, but they were so like, oh, we're not gonna get it. We're not get. I was like, listen, if it's gonna be done, it's gonna be done by me. Nobody else can do this. If it's a possibility to be done, I can do it. If it's not gonna be possible to be done, to do it. So they say, okay, they think they wanted like 5. I said, okay, that's fine. Let's see how it goes. And I already say, I've been to many negotiating class already. I'm a master negotiator. So I said, come on, let me work with it. I got them 10. I called them back and said, yeah, we got you $10,000 on that. They were like, what?
And then it was a whole thing about the down payment because
what?
they wanted to put down 5%,
Yeah,
but the agent wanted 25%.
Yeah.
Or 20%.
I don't remember the whole part because she took care of most of it, but that part I went to see it, the house with them, and I was like, I got you. Let's see. If it
The whole
can't be
thing
done,
is
it can't
that
be done.
when you work together, we work together. So anything that you tell me, I'm calling him to say, okay, this, and that. How can we, work through it?
Yeah.
That's if you want it.
Yeah.
That I always tell my clients, like, I'm not going to be the person living in it. So you have to be the one that
Yeah.
Right.
really wants it. Now, once you're there, now I can help you navigate.
Yeah.
But if you're not sure or it's not something you really want, then that's up to you. Now that client that we were talking about with the mold and everything, she now lives in this house. It's so cute. She
They
renovated the
renovated
whole thing, which that wasn't even like her original plan, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Good.
That's good.
All right. Good. Thanks for having you on board, Peggy.
Yeah,
We'd love
thank
to
you
have
for
you as a
coming.
client. Thank you for coming. We
yes,
appreciate having you here. And
now you're a part of our real estate family.
that's right. So we're having our party in March.
You already was like family. Anytime you was doing an event, my dad was like, "Peggy's doing an event. We gotta go. We gotta go."
That's good.
March 18th. Yes. Oh, we'll be having an event, and we'll let you know.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. It was nice to have Peggy here to talk about
Her
the importance
experience.
of having a buyer's agent that's
What-
experienced.
Yeah. And what we could do for you or others, like if you don't live, in another state, the importance of having a buyer's agent is so important.
Yeah. It's actually required now as a law, but it's important to choose the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you know.
You guys,
Right.
you guys. Oh, I'm cutting. But you guys did cover a lot of topics, a lot of things that people should know when it comes to the home buying process. And of course, you guys are experienced agents, and it shows that you're showing people that having an agent is so important. There's so many like nooks and crannies and things that could be missed, and money could be out the window, and they catching all the ebbs
Very
and flows,
true.
and which is pretty good. So
Yeah. Every deal is different, I was going to say. Yeah. So you learn. The more you do, the more you learn.
Right.
Yeah.
And you showed how transparency was very important and alleviated a lot of headaches that could have happened.
And the biggest thing is that you are part of the real estate family, which is pretty cool. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now you know.
Get to it.
Yes. So Carmen's going to tell her experience from buying this house.
Oh, it's like, I would say it's like a happy and sad time for me because starting out, yes, I did love the house and I still do love it, but I did not have good representation buying this house. So I felt as if I was cornered into certain situation that should have been explained clearly to me, and it wasn't. And so it was after I bought the house and moved in, then I noticed the problems that exist. It was really a lot, and I figured I was really treated unfairly because as a single woman with 3 children, I needed a real estate agent, and I didn't really use one because the person who pretended to be the real estate agent was a relative of the seller who was on the seller's side and not on my side. So I think it was just an unfair game played out. I was really angry, not doing the proper thing or hastily do the buying without other people looking in on what I was making the big investment on. Yeah. So it's really good to have good representation before buying a house. That's what I would say.